Okay, we're back on. I want to talk about the
So
arrest
yeah,
and
so as they arrest me, I'm good. I'm
yeah.
good. All right. So as they arrest me, um, detectives brought me down to the station. Female detective, she was asking me about, as have I been up in the Cross Heights area? Of course I denied it. You know, she already knew. She was just playing. She was just trying to play me like anything was going on. She just basically let me know from right there, like, you're being arrested for, a carjacking. And I was like, at first I didn't think nothing of it. And I'm like, I just like, I know that ain't, it can't be. You feel me? And when I got my charge papers down in Central Bookings, I read them, and sure enough, it was the situation with the hat man. And I kind of put my head down, and I was kind of just felt defeated. Like, why would I do something like this? You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, and I went through the whole booking process. And, as I got on over to, one of the dorms, I took my papers and, I was showing somebody, like, my charges. And they like, oh man, you good, man. This ain't nothing. You should probably get probation. And you good, man. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. And I was like, okay, all right. So I'm thinking like, and then the first thing I do, I try to call home to my mother. And I call home to her, and she basically told me out her mouth she ain't gonna help me out nowhere with no phone, with no house. So here I am again, back by myself. I had a few friends that helped out along the way, but what I didn't have was a lawyer. They assigned me a public defender. And as I got with this public defender, it was like, it was hard to really, initially, and it always been hard. Like, it was hard to initially communicate with him because being that young and him in his field, we couldn't really connect on things. He trying to explain things to me, and mind you, I'm young and naive and not knowing the law per se. It let you, like, where as though he was saying things and I couldn't comprehend to him. So I was just trying my best to sound smart, and that's why prior to him it looked like, man, you trying, but you, and he knew I ain't had no clue what's going on. And I remember a couple months later, he comes down and said, man, well, look, you've been indicted. And I'm like, how am I indicted? Indicted for what? And he's like, man, you've been indicted for attempted murder. I'm like, attempted murder? I didn't even try to kill nobody. Complaining like just because I pointed the gun and shot at him, and the victim actually eventually ended up in the hospital with a leg shot that the prosecutor felt the way so that warrant attempted murder charge. And I was like, man, that's I'm thinking like, no, that can't be no murder charge. So I'm not. And medical records did show that he did get shot, but it was one shot and the bullet fragments. So basically, he got crazy. Bullet ricocheted off the ground, and bullet fragments into his leg. You know what I'm saying? So he had to get the bullet fragments out. Basically, he got grazed. He was shot off the ground. So I'm sitting over there with a attempted murder charge plus a carjacking charge, which I couldn't contest because I didn't know how to contest it at the time. And I'm going back and forth with the, public defender. And he, like I said, it was just faulty communication. I couldn't really get across what I was trying to do. And he did come with a deal. The first deal was 5 years. So he was like, man, you don't. And it's crazy. Like, he said it so fast that I was like, like, well, I ain't taking anybody. I'm trying to get out of it. Being young like that, I never been to prison, so I'm just trying to get back home. Because I ain't think I was in no real trouble. And he never really came back with another plea deal until the day we went to trial. And that was 18 months later. And I remember the day we went to trial, he comes to me, he like, man, well, look, they offer 18 off benefits and 2 years probation. I'm hearing 18 years, I'm hearing 10 years. I don't know how that works. I don't know how you suspend something. I'm like, nah, man, and it was never a time where those offenders actually set me down, made me realize the severity of what I was going through. And I wish he would have took the time and just been like, listen,
Yeah.
you don't want to mess your life up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I wish he would have really, spoke that into me and made me realize what was going on. He never gave me that grace. So I denied the plea deal then, and then we took it to trial. The trial lasted for 3 days. And I got found guilty for all the charges. It was like 17 charges I got for this one incident.
Mm-hmm.
And I got found guilty that day. The judge felt the way as though I should get sentenced that same day.
Mm.
And enough, I came back a couple of hours later, and I remember the judge told me, said, man, I don't care how this looks. I think you a cold-hearted killer, and I'm going to sentence you that way.
Wow.
And he ended up giving me life for 55 years. The thing that I got found guilty. So
You have 60 seconds remaining.
that's what happened.